leaders of the US and Britain are promising to increase the pressure on the Syrian regime. At the White House, President Barack Obama and Prime Minister David Cameron said they will work to strengthen moderate opposition forces in Syria. Mr. Cameron mentioned the possible expansion of non-lethal assistance to the rebels. He also urged Russia to join international efforts aimed at convincing Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to step down.
This was a warm-up meeting before the G8 gathering of rich industrialised countries that the British Prime Minister will host in June. There, Barack Obama and David Cameron hope to kick off negotiations towards an EU-US trade pact. But here, the focus was swiftly on Syria. Its history, said David Cameron, is being written in the blood of its people. A transitional government, he said, is required that can win the consent of everyone.
80,000 dead, 5 million people forced from their homes. Syria's history is being written in the blood of her people, and it is happening on our watch. The world urgently needs to come together to bring the killing to an end. None of us have any interest in seeing more lives lost, in seeing chemical weapons used, or extremist violence spreading even further.
Also spoke of solutions to the Syrian conflict, with Obama saying that he would keep up the pressure on President Bashar al-Assad.
And that includes bringing together representatives of the regime and the opposition in Geneva in the coming weeks to agree on a transitional body which would allow a transfer of power from Assad to this governing body. Meanwhile, we'll continue to work to establish the facts around the use of chemical weapons in Syria, and those facts will help guide our next steps.
The US and Russia have tentatively proposed a peace conference, with Cameron agreeing on his visit to Russia last week. However, a date is yet to be set. Obama also weighed in on the EU referendum debate, saying that the UK's membership was an expression of its influence in the world.
Russian leaders have long provided support for their allies in Syria. Cameron traveled to Russia last week to meet with President Vladimir Putin. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry held separate talks in Moscow with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. They agreed to set up talks between representatives of the government and the opposition by the end of the month. But U.S. State Department officials say the conference is unlikely to take place until at least next month.
Analysts like Aram Nerguzian say the president may be unwilling to use the U.S. military because, from a White House perspective, there aren't any good options.
You could provide weapons to the rebels. That doesn't address any of the proliferation threats, and it might even exacerbate the jihadi or Islamist question. You could do strikes on chemical weapons. That doesn't end the civil war. You can create buffer zones, but those are far removed usually from centers of regime control.
Mr. Obama has said the use of chemical weapons would force him to act. As of now, he says they still don't have all the facts about the possible use of sarin gas, but they are working together to figure it out, giving no indication of how long that will take or what steps they could take as a result.